So it really is a privilege, my honor, to welcome everybody to this celebration, this event to recognize and to honor all those women and men who have served this country recently, over the years, and throughout time. So I think it was President John F. Kennedy, and I'm paraphrasing, not quoting, who said that the best way to honor those women and men is not just through these speeches and these celebrations, but to live the values in which their service has represented since the beginning of the ways in which our military has served this country to protect the sense of peace on the planet, to protect the rights and things that we all too often take for granted here in this country. These folks go to places and do things throughout the world on our behalf that it is so important that we recognize today. And what better place than to recognize the commitment and the service of all of those men and women than at a community college. President Truman in 1947 put together a commission, which the Commission on Higher Education said we have to have places in our community for all of those veterans who are coming back from World War II to have opportunities for themselves and their families to attain the dreams that they have for themselves. So what better place than here at Greenfield Community College to honor and recognize the women and men who served from within this community, for this community, on behalf of this community. And there is a lot to celebrate today. You'll hear about all of those different things in just a moment. But I do want to introduce our first speaker, if you will, who will be sharing some of his own personal perspectives when we talk about service and recognize all of your commitment, those of you who are part of the VetNet, those of you who are here engaged in your own teaching and learning. We also think about the service of folks who have come back and gotten engaged in giving back in lots of different ways, and being engaged in higher education and giving back through higher education is part of what Terry Lynn has done. He's served not only in the military, but he served in the law enforcement in the eastern part of the state. He is now committed to service in our community through higher education. And so I'd like to ask Dr. Terry Lynn to come on up and share a few of his thoughts about his own service. Terry?
I'm reminded by looking out at all the student vets and the vets that you folks always try to overcome adversity. And since this is college, a little Shakespeare. Henry V, Act 3, Scene 1. Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more. Thank you to Drs. Pura and Hruska. Thanks to GCC staff and faculty, GCC student vets and veterans. Last year at this time, I was someplace between a rare privilege and a high honor to stand here and give the welcoming remarks on behalf of President Pura to the start of the Veterans Day event. You allowed me to share with you the story of my grandfather, a D-Day survivor, a Silver Star recipient, a POW, who died a lonely death from wounds not visible from that war in a VA hospital in Providence. What I did not finish in that story last year was that the GI Bill allowed my grandfather an opportunity to attend and graduate from Harvard College in 1948. Education allowed him to change his stars, but unfortunately, they did not know how to work with what we today call PTSD. His brother, a distinguished Flying Cross recipient who left Boston College to join the fight, joining the Army Air Corps, completing 16 missions only to be killed in action flying the Piccadilly Lily on a bombing raid over Kiel, Germany on January 4th, 1944. I am carrying with me a flag that flew over Forward Operating Base Task Force Assassin in Iraq. It was not a ceremonial flag, but one used daily, and it was given to me by two of my students who had deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan numerous times since 2002. Each time they deployed, I worked with them online to help them complete their studies. And I'd get the, sorry, professor, it's been a few days since we got a hold of you, but snipers were keeping us pinned down. We had to go out and do a raid, and I certainly understood. They are not even 28 years old, but they have lived more lives and experiences than I can imagine. The day they packed up to leave to head back to the United States, they packed up the flag for me and stuffed it in their bag and came under fire. A firefight ensued, and thankfully they survived. But this flag had a few holes where once was solid fabric from the insurgent rounds. It also got a bit dusty and dirty amidst the chaos of combat. They folded it once safely back in the United States and brought it to me. It sits in my office over in East. It is the first thing I see in the morning. It is the last thing I see when I leave in the evening. It reminds me of the sacrifice they made, that you made, and that all veterans made. It serves to remind me of my responsibility as a professor and academic dean to hold true to the core values of honesty, integrity, and respect. I have seen and personally experienced how life-changing military experience is, especially for that scared 18-year-old I once was. I had no other place to go. The military taught me how to care about myself, and most importantly, how to be accountable for my actions, be they good or bad. Every one of us in this room knows what hard work, sacrifice, and dedication is, and that is why each of us will continue to reach our dreams, because we know that life's downs don't keep us down. They don't keep you down. They simply make us and you want it more. We adapt, we improvise, we overcome. And in some cases, we allocate resources from unsuspecting other departments so that we don't go without. Once more, unto the breach. When the vets returned from World War II, the GI Bill allowed many of them to attend college, perfect a trade, learn a craft, and it allowed them to change a path in life that many of them were destined to repeat. But education allowed them to change their stars. And at my age now, I find that I read the obituaries, or as my grandfather referred to them as the Irish racing form. I often see the flags denoting the vets, and I read them even when I don't know who they were. I read about what they did after their service, went on to college, became a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, and every other job from A to Z. You represent those that came before you and now rest in a greater place. Your stars are waiting to be changed, your path in life slowly becoming more clear as the winds of education clear that road and make those goals more easily seen. The nice thing about that is that I believe we always knew that they were there, but sometimes it just took a little bit of guidance, some time, and some mentoring for us to see it. The election is over. Maybe your candidate won, maybe not. But as I watched the election, I was reminded that we do live in the greatest country in the world because of the freedoms we have. But those freedoms came from the blood, sweat, and tears of the veterans before us, and from the blood, sweat, and tears of your service. You represent the best of GCC, a determination to succeed, an appreciation of and for education, and being no stranger to hard work. We are better as an institution because you force us to be better. And like this flag, it is the whole that we see that gives it strength and meaning. The bullet holes, the sand, the grime are the badges of honor it carries. But the fibers and the weave around those holes provide protection and closure so that it always remains whole and intact, safe. And you, our student vets, some with visible wounds, some unseen, a bit dusty, a bit dirty, from the chaos of life and combat. VetNet, GCC, and education will be that fiber and that weave that keeps you whole and feeling safe. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being our students. And thank you for being there to welcome in your brothers and sisters in arms. Once more into the breach, dear friends. Once more. Kevin, It's been a bit selfish that this flag has sat in my office. In the spirit of education, I wanted to sit in the VetNet to serve as a reminder for you folks that you can turn around and accomplish anything that you want. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. I'm also going to read a little bit to make sure I get everything down. My name is Doug Wilkins, and I'm one of the professors here. And I'm honored to be here today and have a short poem, really short, for you that I learned long ago and far away. It's not what you expect. The biscuits in the Army, they say, are mighty fine. One rolled off the table and killed a friend of mine. It comes from an old I Don't Want No More of Army Life song that I learned when I was a little kid. And in spite of some of the impressions civilians might have of the military is an extraordinary collection of highly trained, wonderful individuals who perform the most important task there is, protecting our freedom. When these folks leave the military and come to our community here at GCC to further their education, they bring integrity, a desire to learn, and professionalism that is a model for our younger students. Words cannot describe how wonderful it is to have these fine men and women in my classroom. We, GCC, are fortunate to have them. I know many of the vets that are here today in this room from being in my courses. When a vet is in my classroom, they greatly enhance the learning atmosphere. They fully participate. They come prepared. They come on time. And they focus on learning. They are courteous and always willing to help other students and clearly want to learn. They really make my job easier. But I think what I appreciate most is that the students that are just out of high school benefit from this. The classroom is enriched by the life experience the vets bring. The younger students see the desire to learn. They see the professionalism and they see the courtesy. This all helps bring into perspective just how important learning is. It's a very powerful message for our young people. I'm so pleased that our college has a place that our veterans can call theirs. I know they support each other, and I know that the center has been used by vets to help their fellow vets in my classes. It's great that we can give them at least a little back to these wonderful folks that have given so much to our country and for our freedom. To our veterans, you're always welcome in my classroom. Thank you.
Hello, veterans, students and faculty of GCC, and visitors. I'd first like to apologize for not being there in person today, but I would like to thank you for attending our ceremony and being part of such an important week. Honoring veterans is not something that should be done one week in November, but something that we should carry with us each day. My name is Catherine Lemlin. I attended GCC and received my associate's degree this past December and walked with the class of 2012 last spring. I myself am not a veteran, but I am a civilian who has multiple friends and family who have been in the armed services and who are currently serving. In the fall of 2009, I came to GCC looking for a fresh start. Diane O'Hearn was my advisor and friend, and as the semesters went on, our friendship grew stronger. I'll never forget the day when she told me about this idea she had to form a new group. She had explained that her and a few other students had come up with this idea to create a group for veterans on campus to help them and to build a community. I loved this idea. Constructing a support system to help military men and women adjust to civilian life is something that was extremely needed, and I was excited to hear the progression of the idea had already been taking off. However, as amped up as I was, I of course had class during the times of the meetings, so I was unable to be as active of a member as I would have liked. But I did look at myself as a silent supporter, one who stood on the sidelines but still baked cookies for the bake sales and who would spread the word of this new group developing. It wasn't until my last semester at GCC when I actually became an active member of VetNet. There was so many thoughts in my head that almost prevented me from joining the group. First of all, I was just a girl who supported veterans. I had had no military experience whatsoever. How could I help to make a difference? I also thought about the fact that I was walking into this group that already had such a tight connection. Where would I fit in? I think that one of the best decisions of my life was silencing these negative voices in my mind, because the moment that I stepped foot into that center, I was greeted with such open arms. I can honestly say that I have never felt so welcome in my entire life. Each member of the group has a way of making you feel accepted and important. This is huge for someone who was never really sure where they belonged. Being a part of this group not only means being there for others, but having others there for you. As I'm sure some of you are aware, members of the VetNet group had participated in Mount Snow's edition of Tough Mudder this summer, and I can honestly say that it was very interesting to watch them accomplish this intensely challenging course that had nothing to do with time but camaraderie. I attended as a spectator, but I was able to witness such teamwork. I watched multiple teams attempt these challenges, and I can honestly say that the ones who succeeded were the ones who had great support systems on their team. Some of the obstacles took a toll on the participants, both physically and mentally. And I can say that the only way that VetNet completed the course the way they did was by having trust, respect, and faith in one another. I'm proud to say that each one of the VetNet team members had crossed that finish line after being shocked by thousands of volts. Thanks to GCC, we have been given a place where we can express ourselves and get help when we need it. We look out for our own, and together we help those who are in need. VetNet is a community that is only growing. More people are becoming aware of our goals and the amazing accomplishments that our group has achieved. Louder and louder, our voices are being heard. Although I am currently attending Worcester State University, which has limited my time in the Vet Center, I can honestly say that it has not lessened my dedication to the group whatsoever. The community has spread miles away, from Greenfield to Worcester to Cape Cod, even to California. People are becoming involved by helping others, while at the same time not being afraid to ask for help themselves. This is such a significant group where you not only build connections to help you get through the semester, but bonds that last a lifetime. I know that when people always tell me that the closest group of friends that I'll have in the future will be the ones that I've made in college, they'll be talking about VetNet. If you're not yet a supporter or a member of the group, please go check out the Vet Center and see what we're about. Who knows, maybe you'll feel that this is a group where you feel that you belong. I would like to thank everyone again for coming, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. When you walk upstairs and you walk down the end of the hallway, you come to a room, the Vet Center. And it is no more than some walls, some chairs, some furniture. And yet when you walk in, you feel that you're a part of something that is way beyond walls and furniture. You feel connected to the community that you heard Catherine just talk about. You heard her, one voice, speaking on behalf of the many who help create, benefit by, and continue to serve and regenerate what that community is all about. So the VetNet itself really is the heart and soul of the community that exists in that room. But you feel it when you walk in there. So is there any wonder that when the Beat family came to tour around this campus and to walk around the spaces and visit the different rooms of the college and the different places in which community gets established, that the Beat family, who have been so committed to serving this community for so long, said when they, the day after, I think it was literally the day after the visit, they called up and said, we want to play a larger role in and have our name connected with that room, which really is representative of a community that exists within this college community, which it really does exist within the broader sense of community that we live in and work in. So you will come to a ribbon cutting in just a few moments, and know that the Beat family, Joe and Marie Beat, Channing and Marie Beat, who continue to serve this community year after year, day after day, Sunday after Sunday, step up to really do understand service in ways that you all understand it as well. So the Channing and Marie Beat Vet Center will be officially named in just a few moments, but I do want to ask that we just, for those of you who won't be able to get over to the ribbon cutting, just please recognize how wonderful that commitment is and how gracious that family has been by saying thank you to the Beat family. So we do thank you. Kevin, if you would.
Before we begin, I'd like to ask that everyone just take a few seconds to just kind of remember those men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice and can't be here today. Thank you. I'd like to start by reading a poem. It's entitled, "Freedom is Not Free." I've lost my soul, just an empty shell. No heaven in here, only hell. Hate and anger taking control. On my mind, they take their toll. Don't try to stop it, let it go. It's in me now, I can feel it grow. Churning and burning, wanting release. The less I give in, the more I feel it increase. The fury of 1,000 suns in its wake. I don't know how much more I can take. It eats at my insides, it corrodes my brain. It never gives me any relief from the pain. The silent whispers scream loudly in my ears, planting seeds of disparity, feeding on my fears. How do I emerge from this darkness into the light? How do I undo all the wrong to make it all right? Day 2, and it continues to grow, continues to flow, continues to know. When I look in the mirror, what I see isn't me. It's a freak who can't speak, who is weak and who is meek. How can this be? I'll never be free from the animosity, this disdain, this pain. I must refrain from discharging my brain. I will not be slain, I must contain. I must wear the mask so you can see me smile, all the while dying as if on the Green Mile. To do good, must one be bad? To be happy, must another be sad? We spread our freedom like a disease, leaving behind a trail of the deceased, freeing our people but imprisoning our soul. In the near distance, we can hear death's toll. Death smiles at everyone, some of us smile back, screaming, "Bring it on, death," as we lead the attack. But he doesn't take us, he just lets us be. It's more pleasurable for him to see us live out a life of internal misery. For many of us, this is how we felt at one point or another in our life. And when I wrote that poem, I was in a really dark place in my life. And I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but my friends in the vet center helped pull me through. They became more attentive to what I needed. They listened to me rant and ramble on about everything and anything. And through community, camaraderie, and compassion, I've learned to not take offense to things people say. Instead, I make that an opportunity to educate, to let people know why what they're saying may be offensive to other people, especially veterans, and to teach them that they can still express their feelings or their points of view, but to do it in a tactful and respectful manner. But this is only one of my responsibilities as not only a member of the VetNet, but as president of the VetNet and the Vet Center. Some of my other duties are to help ensure, along with the other officers and the other people who belong to the VetNet, is to provide a place of security, pride, integrity, and team values. To make GCC, if not the top ranked, one of the top ranked vet-friendly campuses in America. We have a motto in the military: lead, follow, or get the hell out the way. We're not following, and we're not getting out the way. But we can't do this alone. As with any military force, you need allies. Allies are of the utmost importance. But the difference here is we're no longer a military, and our allies are no longer foreign nations. Our allies are all of you, stay there, are all of you who are out there today showing your support for us. You are our strength. And it's with the generosity of people such as Mr. and Mrs. Beat who help us accomplish this mission, for we can't do it alone. I remember the day I met Mr. and Mrs. Beat. I was up in the Vet Center wearing my kilt, and President Pure had brought his guest into the Vet Center, and of course they inquired as to why I was wearing a kilt. So I briefly explained to them about Tough Mudder and what it was, but what I didn't explain to them was something that I didn't even know yet. And that was when we were on that mountain. It wasn't me on that mountain trying to conquer these 26 obstacles over a 10.5-mile course. It wasn't Mike or Joe or Will or Diane. It wasn't any one of us individually. It was us as a team. It was a leave no man or woman behind mentality. It didn't matter how long it took us. We were leaving no man or woman behind. And the people on the course began to know us. As a few of us would scout ahead to see what obstacles were coming up, we'd have people come up from behind us and be like, hey, the rest of your crew is a few paces behind. And they began to call us the kilts. So as it turned out, the kilt that Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw myself wearing, and I think, Will, you were up there, I think, with me, the kilts that you saw us wear, they became a symbol of our commitment to one another, to our trust in each other, and to the leave no man or woman behind mentality that we now carry. It's a symbol of our strength as a whole, that no one of us is as strong as all of us together. So it's with this commitment to each other that we extend to an outside source, a source that doesn't know us yet on a personal level, but has put their trust in our mission and our efficiency to carry out this mission. And as a token of our promise back to you to be on the forefront of veterans' educations, we'd like to present you with something. We have here a kilt for the two of you. We'd like to present to you. And we'd like to welcome you to our family, as you have welcomed us to yours by lending us your name to our home. So we'd like to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you very much. And one last thing before I go. While I'm up here speaking about servitude and community service, I'd like to take a moment to thank someone who, to me, is very special, and I think to this community is very special. Recently retired after 42 years in the Army National Guard. Yes, Joe, this is payback for my graduation. Sergeant Major Joe Young, please come up. So, perfect. It's already broken in. Yep. So I'm going, Joe would like to say a few words, but when Joe's done, I'd like to welcome you up to the Beat Center and for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you very much. Been a student here at GCC for 3 semesters, taken a little bit of time off, but I'll be back. But the only thing I want to say is, the day I did my orientation here, I was walking into a new world. I had 30-day notice, I was done. I was out the door with the military. I needed something for stability. I needed to be able to still get up in the morning at 8 o'clock, A, B, C, D, E. After 40 years full-time, it's in here. I emailed GCC on a Monday. Wednesday I came down. Friday I was enrolled. Spring semester come along, made the orientation. Life was good. I was liking what I was seeing. I come around the corner, and Kevin and Diane, I just got pulled into this room because they knew I was a veteran because I had my hat on. And as I tell everybody, I got adopted by VetNet. I didn't join. I got adopted, and it was one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life. Being in the military is awesome. We're not military, but we still share the same values. Leave no man, no woman behind. And we serve with honor, regardless where we go. And my rocking chair, yeah, it'll have a place of honor in my house. And I'd just like to thank you all very much.
So, you know, it really is a privilege and an honor for me as president of this college, on behalf of all of our students and our faculty and our staff and our boards who help guide and lead us to be a part of a ribbon cutting for the Channing and Marie Beat Veterans Center. For those who are at the ceremony downstairs, you cannot help but feel the warmth that really does emanate out of that VetNet group, that the individuals who have come together to create that community, which gets housed in this room, is perfectly a fit for the Beat family, because so much like the VetNet itself, it is their warmth, it's their service, it's their commitment to community, to individuals and the collective, that it is a perfect fit for this college and for all of our guys and the women who have served over time and are now part of this college community. So let's all hold on to this, and we'll let Marie, if you be there with Joe, and you guys come on in, Kevin, move in a little closer there.
Yeah, get your hands in there, guys. Do it. It's all right. We need help. We're all.
On the count of?
1, 2, 3.
Faulty scissors.
4, 5, 6.
Oh,
9, 10.
yeah, she's got it like triple.
You know, all of you represent either GCC or the VetNet folks here that make this come alive every day. We, in a very small way, represent the community at large that's out there, that needs to make space for all of you in the right kind of a way. We have a great need to owe ourselves and our freedom to all of you. And you have an obligation not to let your stories and your story and where you've been and what's happened ever to die away from the memories of our country and our people. If we're going to have peace in the world, you're the ones who can tell us exactly why we need to have it. You've seen the price. And we thank you so much for what you've done for us. Thank you.
And so this particular plaque will go home with the Beat family.
No, it won't go in the center, sorry.
This particular plaque will go home with them, and we'll have a plaque just like it for this room, because we want them to have that, have this with them at all times, just as their name will be with us at all times. So
really, the scissors were enough.
This is even better. So please take that as our appreciation to you guys.
Very nice.
A good idea.
When Regina and Bob took us on tour, and we came into the vet center, and Kevin was here, and
Will, wherever Will is.
Where?
Diane.
There's Will, yeah.
I loved everything I saw about the new college, but something just struck a chord when I walked into the vet center, and we thought afterwards about what we might like to do and what choices were, and we immediately came back to, we wanted to be part of the Vet Center and encourage the wonderful support that you seem to be giving each other. And we're just grateful we have the opportunity to do that.
And part of the reason the court exists is all the day in and day out the commitment that Diane O'Connor has given to the men, the women, and the center itself. So it's appropriate that you're up here as well, Diane.